Welcome back. Word has just come down that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. Thank you for his service to the network and host of the prior contributor. Wave.
Rogan just went there. And now Whoopi Goldberg might want to log off for a while. After Tucker Carlson dropped a $100 million lawsuit that feels crazy, but also weirdly expected, Joe Rogan came in fast, hitting hard with the verbal version of a chair shot. So what did he actually say? Why is Whoopi losing control? And how did this blow up faster than a full-on Fox News meltdown? Buckle up. This is the kind of chaos you just can't ignore.
Like, he used him as his puppet, and it exposed what many of us have been saying about Tucker Carlson. He's a Kremlin puppet who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
It's just such a disgrace, I think, to our country that an American would give him any kind of platform to propaganda.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I think Sonny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so sick.
So there they were. The View, America's go-to panel for hot takes and nonstop outrage, swirling their overpriced coffee and trying to outdo each other. And of course, front and center, Whoopi Goldberg, ready to break down global affairs, national security, and the future of democracy. Because who better to handle all that than Whoopi, from Sister Act, now stepping into the role of a leading voice on civil discourse.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space.
The conversation, if we're being generous with that word, went off the rails fast, like Joy Behar's mascara during a commercial break. They were supposed to be talking about Carlson's latest soundbites, something about the border, Ukraine, or maybe even aliens, depending on his mood. But within seconds, it turned into a daytime version of Salem, 1692. Whoopi, with the legal confidence of a magic 8-ball, didn't just say Tucker Carlson was wrong. She framed him as a threat to the Republic. Not just annoying, not just provocative. This was full-on code red. Apparently, disagreeing with The View now comes with a side of call the authorities.
What Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said it's
on television.
Just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican.
Naturally, the others weren't about to let Whoopi have that moment to herself. Joy Behar jumped in like a backup singer who'd been waiting way too long for her solo, quick to label Carlson public enemy number one with all the depth of a Facebook meme. Then came Sonny Hostin, chiming in with the energy of someone who just discovered the First Amendment 5 minutes ago. At that point, it stopped feeling like a panel discussion and started looking like a caffeinated kangaroo court, everyone scrambling to outrage each other for attention.
If I may, I'm amazed at the level of self-projection going on here. I mean, Alicia, you work for ABC, Tucker works for himself. Objectively, you are a puppet and he's not. And Sonny, you're basically saying that Tucker shouldn't be allowed to have a voice. That's the opposite of the democracy that you preach every time we are here. And finally, none of you had any examples on what Tucker has said that was a lie or propaganda. But I'm too nice, so I will give you another chance. Give me some specific examples to back your claims. Let's go.
While The View was busy turning itself into a live-action parody, the internet was having a completely different reaction. Twitter, that unlicensed therapist for the chronically online, blew up. like someone had swapped out Whoopi's green room snacks for a dose of reality. Carlson's supporters weren't just mildly annoyed either. This wasn't your usual all-caps rant. We're talking full-on, lawyered-up, courtroom sketch-level outrage. Legal analysts started popping up everywhere to weigh in. Some brushed it off as classic Whoopi, loud, off-base, and totally unfazed by the facts. But others weren't so sure. There were whispers that this wasn't just over-the-top commentary. It could actually cross a legal line. Because when you go on national TV and start calling someone a criminal who should be locked up, you don't get to hide behind just being sassy. There's a real line between colorful commentary and outright defamation, and Whoopi might have stepped right over it in style. That's when Carlson's legal team reportedly got to work. You can almost picture it, papers flying, statements being drafted, the whole thing coming together with the energy of people who are very ready for a fight.
Like the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, are just very dumb.
A $100 million defamation lawsuit started taking shape, stacked with claims of slander, reputational damage, and good old-fashioned character attacks. And then, right on cue, Joe Rogan stepped in. Blunt in one hand, sarcasm in the other, he went straight at The View like a comic crashing the wrong stage. Rogan tore into the whole scene like it was an improv bit gone off the rails, joking that the panel sounded like a group of boomers suddenly playing constitutional experts. According to him, when Whoopi talks, it's less analysis and more like shouting out things half-remembered from a BuzzFeed quiz on civic duty. He brushed off the arrest him talk like it was a joke that only they found funny, calling the show America's loudest brunch table, just with cameras rolling. And the internet ate it up. Memes went everywhere. The View's credibility took a hit, dropping faster than attention during a slow segment. By the end of the week, one thing stood out. The show tried to land a serious blow, but it came off messy and over the top. And Rogan, staying true to form, turned it into a full-on comedic takedown.
In fairness, though, I mean, The View has to be if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin's
You think it's deliberate?
dumb. I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person, and what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it and just.
And just like that, The View's daytime therapy session turned into something closer to a courtroom drama, the kind even Law and Order would probably reject for being too over the top. Tucker Carlson didn't just file a lawsuit; he came in heavy, dropping a $100 million legal hammer like Thor with a law degree. It's not every day a former Fox News host sues a network for slander and somehow walks away looking like the most composed person in the room. But somehow, here we are. The complaint itself, thick, detailed, and not holding back. According to Carlson, the panel didn't just share opinions, they went all in, attacking his character live on air with zero restraint. The argument is that their comments weren't framed as jokes, sarcasm, or even loose commentary. Instead, they pushed a narrative that painted him as a serious threat, throwing around words like danger and arrest like it was part of the show. From a legal angle, that's where things get tricky. His team claims this crossed the line from opinion into direct accusation, something that carries real consequences when it's broadcast to millions. And unlike casual commentary, statements like that don't always get protection if they're presented as fact. In short, this isn't just loud TV drama anymore. It's a question of whether those on-air remarks stepped beyond opinion and into something legally actionable.
Question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of people.
MSNBC viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't
we
even
gotta-
think the MSNBC viewers. I think
that's
they're a
too
little bit
far.
more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg has. Does Whoopi have children?
No idea.
It's interesting too, like really politically motivated older women who don't have children.
Yeah.
They're very specific. Like you can kind of guess the way.
As for damages, Carlson says he's taken hits on every front, from professional setbacks to personal threats, all because The View decided to play judge, jury, and executioner during their mid-morning meltdown. Apparently, yelling on national TV that someone should be cuffed and dragged off for being annoying comes with the occasional courtroom follow-up. Who knew? The media reaction is, as usual, all over the place, split as cleanly as Whoopi's credibility. Half the press is framing this as Carlson throwing a fragile ego tantrum in legalese, while The View sticks to their classic playbook of denial and deflection, which is pretty rich coming from a panel that can't even agree on what day it is without bickering for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan, seemingly on a personal mission to roast The View into oblivion, didn't waste a second. He went full scorched earth, mocking the lawsuit while dismantling Whoopi's grasp of law, ethics, and basic logic. Watching Whoopi try to explain legal consequences, according to Rogan, is like watching a cat attempt algebra. Confident, but completely wrong. He joked that the show isn't journalism, it's verbal bumper cars, where everyone crashes into logic and sues the tow truck afterward. And as for the audience, Rogan quipped it's mostly people who accidentally leave the TV on after Good Morning America, and a few houseplants that enjoy background noise.
Try to deplatform me all the time. I think they should be deplatformed. I think the best way to counter bad opinions is with good.
That's the kind of bipartisan agreement Congress could only dream of. Joe Rogan didn't just step into this mess, he cannonballed in like a stone philosopher on a mission. On the latest episode of his podcast, sandwiched between elk meat tales and alien theories, he aimed straight at Whoopi Goldberg with all the subtlety of a bald eagle armed with a bazooka. Ah, yes, he said sarcastically. Whoopi Goldberg, the Oracle of Justice. Apparently, democracy now hinges on her mood swings and how many gluten-free muffins she's had that morning. Then he tore into The View like it was a piñata made of hypocrisy. He targeted their biggest flaw, performative outrage. To Rogan, the show isn't trying to inform anyone. It's auditioning daily for an Emmy, an outstanding achievement in pretend outrage for bored Rhine moms. Not journalism, just an endless game of mad libs with louder adjectives. But here's the twist. Rogan didn't just roast the panel, he defended Tucker Carlson. Not because he agrees with everything Carlson says, but because he recognizes a freedom chokehold when he sees one. His point was clear. If screaming arrest him on live TV becomes normal, who's next? Podcasters? Comedians? Everyday citizens?
Show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
And then came the grand finale. Rogan nailed Whoopi's serious face, squinting like he smelled nonsense, and delivered a dead-on impression. Next week on The View, he joked, "Arrest Joe Rogan for having muscles and opinions." The studio erupted in laughter. The internet completely lost it. Just like that, Whoopi Goldberg went viral, for all the wrong reasons. Never one to back down from a losing argument, Whoopi tried to respond on air with the energy of someone realizing their smoke detector was actually a carbon monoxide alarm. She threw out vague sass and pseudo-wisdom, delivering a monologue that felt like it had been written by a committee of confused interns and edited by a magic 8-ball. The audience clapped out of habit, though even they looked like they were second-guessing their life choices. Her rebuttal was basically a shrug wrapped in self-righteousness, lightly seasoned with, "I'm still right because I said it on TV." She doubled down harder than a gambler holding a 2 and a 7 in Vegas. The internet, however, was not impressed. Social media immediately called it what it was, a desperate face-saving attempt powered by delusion and studio lighting. Viewership dipped that week, not drastically, but enough for producers to start nervously eyeing the panic button. Yelling "Arrest Tucker" on live TV apparently doesn't build audience trust. Who knew? Meanwhile, the internet transformed into a digital Roman Colosseum. Conservative Twitter cheered Rogan and Carlson like they tag-teamed The View into oblivion. Liberal Twitter split like a college friend group after someone borrows a charger without asking. Some clutched pearls and defended Whoopi as if she were the last bastion of democracy, while others cringed so hard they might have pulled a neck muscle. Memes exploded, and now we've officially entered the Thunderdome of defamation, where media personalities sue each other like it's a competitive sport, and the trophy is a shattered reputation wrapped in a court summons. It's no longer just he said, she said, it's he sued, she screeched. Tucker's lawsuit isn't just a legal grenade lobbed at Whoopi's shrinking credibility. It's a spotlight on the circus where free speech and media malpractice arm wrestle over who gets canceled first. But just when tribalism peaked and The View was screaming into its own echo chamber, Joe Rogan moonwalked into the chaos like the wild card philosopher of doom. He's not red, he's not blue. He's a floating bald head of logic and sarcasm, adored by conspiracy dabblers, gym bros, and that weird uncle who distrusts soy milk. Rogan doesn't pick sides. He picks apart nonsense, and The View was a goldmine. By eviscerating Whoopi's televised tantrum with a few sharp jokes, he reframed the conversation. This wasn't a left-right battle. It was sanity colliding with insanity. Rogan drove the bus straight through Whoopi's soapbox, mushroom tea in hand, leaving The View publicly roasted in front of millions.